This is Apple's 67-watt MacBook charger. And this over here is also a 67-watt charger from Novoo. Look at the size difference. Let's find out more. Before we start, this is a sponsored video. Novoo did send me this charger for free. However, this did not impact my review, which remains objective and unbiased. If you've been on my channel before, you might have seen that I did review this little guy's older brother, which is this over here, a 120-watt GaN charger. If you're interested in seeing that, I'll put links in the description, but you can also click over here to see that video. And now Novoo has sent me the younger sibling, the 67 GaN charger, and I absolutely love it. If you see the size comparison between Apple's 67-watt MacBook charger and this charger over here, it's ridiculous. If you're someone like me who travels a lot, and I generally travel with a lot of devices, usually with 2 laptops, 2 phones, and an iPad, then portability is quite important. And it doesn't get more portable than this thing over here. Whereas in the past, I would have to carry multiple chargers like these to charge my different devices. The beauty of this, in addition to being this small and portable, is that it has 3 different ports, 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A. So it's really all I need to charge my devices on the go without having to carry a lot of bulk. Now, of course, I cannot charge all of my devices at the same time with this, but I rarely need to charge more than 2 or maximum 3 devices at a time, and that's more than enough for this little thing to handle. I did test the claim of this being a 67-watt charger just to see does it actually deliver on that promise, and indeed it does. I hooked it up to my MacBook, but also another Windows laptop, and as you can see, it's giving a relatively constant 67 watts of power, which is great. Now here's the interesting thing. If you're using one single port, and that's C1, so the first USB-C port, you're gonna get those 67 watts. Novoo has an interesting strategy here. Instead of a more balanced power division, they prioritize port C1, so the first USB-C port, and always give it 45 watts of power. And then the remaining 20 watts are shared amongst C2, so the second USB port and the USB-A port. And here's where this approach is interesting versus some other chargers in the market that would have given you a more even 20 or 30 watt split between the ports. Generally, most people travel with a laptop, a single laptop, and a couple of other devices like a phone, a watch, AirPods, or even an iPod. So generally speaking, you usually have one device that requires high power, like a laptop, and a bunch of other devices that could be easily charged with lower power. So with Novoo taking this route and always giving port C1 45 watts, that means if you're charging a laptop, you're always giving it at least 45 watts, and then your secondary devices, which are often less power hungry, like a phone, an iPad, or whatnot, they get up to 20 watts, which is more than enough in most cases. To be honest, again, in most cases, I do prefer this approach. If I'm charging my iPad and my laptop, I would rather my laptop get 45 watts and the iPad gets only 20, rather than a more even split with the laptop getting only 30 watts and the iPad getting another 30 watts. It really doesn't matter much if I charge the iPad or phone at 20 or 30 watts, the experience is more or less going to be the same. However, if you're charging a laptop at 30 watts or 45 watts, that one is a huge difference. At 30 watts, you might be discharging faster than you are charging. So if you have the laptop plugged in and you're using it heavily, you might be discharging the battery faster than you are charging it. So I'm really happy with Novoo's approach of prioritizing C1 and giving that always 45 watts. And again, I did test this. I had 2 devices plugged in, a laptop and an iPad. And as you can see, the laptop was getting 45 watts of power and the iPad was getting about 20 watts of power, which was great. And with 3 devices plugged in, the laptop still got 45 watts of power, and the iPad was getting about 12 watts of power, with the 3rd device getting about 7.5 watts of power, as you can see. So this over here is Novoo's US version with the US prongs, but they also have a European version with the prongs for Europe. Obviously, the European one is slightly larger, has a slightly larger footprint than the American one. That's because of the larger prongs, and that one is not foldable. So the US one, you can retract the prongs inside for more portability, but still this is quite portable. And again, way more portable than Apple's 67-watt charger. So I've been very happy carrying this with me in all of my trips. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, very happy with the performance. The build quality is really good, and the value for money, I think, is unbeatable. These are not very expensive compared to a lot of the other chargers in the market. They even come with two 100-watt USB-C cables in the box, a 1-meter cable and a 1.5-meter cable, which makes it an even better value deal. I will put links in the description to the product page. Do check them out to see what the price is at the time you're watching this review. And as always, if you liked the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, as this encourages me to continue producing content. Until next time, cheers.